Over the course of this last several weeks, we've really learned a lot about the four frames: the structural frame, the human resource frame, political frame, and the symbolic frame. And we've all had to identify a good deal of the key problems, why they exist, how they impact the organization basically, and maybe who or what could be responsible for how these issues became an issue, and how to maybe better identify solutions and problem solve these issues in order to get things back on track in our organizations. I would love to have an opportunity to approach some of these issues and present them to our corporate. A lot of the issues they may not be aware of, or maybe they are, but because of the closed-minded aspects that come across as it comes down the chain, could also be part to blame. So some of the issues that I've discussed for the organization I work for has been mainly a lack of training, a lack of communication, massive hierarchy problems that quite literally just create chaos in our local branch. And as an end result, nobody knows who to answer to other than we're kind of required to answer to everybody. And they change things so frequently throughout the day and the week that you really never know what to expect when you walk in the doors before you get on the clock. You just know that eggshells is what you're treading. And the best way that they could really deal with any of that particular area is they need to work on, a hierarchy system. So that, say, a hard lines only answers to a hard lines manager, soft lines to a soft lines manager, so on and so forth. But when you have to answer, no matter what your department is, to every single manager in the building, you can't please everybody. There is no way to set a task or a goal and accomplish that. When your actual job changes from day to day, despite what's on your employee personnel file, you get written up a lot for doing your job. And that really brings the employee morale down, and you have a lot of turnover. There's a lot of other issues that go with that, which of course leads into the human resource problems. We aren't even allowed anymore to post with all three of the high schools we have in town because we are that big of a problem with our inability to manage, our inability to create an appropriate and basic work schedule. I mean, they have it so that you'll have one schedule here on this particular day, but then if you don't check it 5 or 6 times throughout the day and check it again on this particular day or that particular day and hope that it's a steady one, they've already changed the schedules. You got 5 schedules that you do not know which one is the one that they're actually going to stick with. And we schedule our high school students so that they're supposed to be on shift while they're in class at 10 a.m. 2 in the afternoon, and these kids aren't even available until 4 p.m. And as an end result, instead of being understanding of this and admitting and acknowledging the problems that the managers have created themselves with too many hands in the cookie pot, because there's 3 people touching this schedule at all times or any given time, that they're writing these kids up for no call, no show, or any number of things. And that's just inappropriate. And these kids, of course, walk off the job. I can't say as I blame them. I've personally recently put my own time in because you cannot build a schedule to even accommodate your own responsibilities as an adult. And that is a major problem that is causing extremely high turnover rates There's it's literally pretty much just chaos around there. So our employee pool is non-existent because people don't want to work for us. We're banned from the high schools, and we already live in a town that has a very small population. And because of that small population, we just don't have the ability to attract a good pool of employees to try and turn anything around. And that would be provided there was any indication that management would want to turn such things around, which there's not that indication, obviously, which brings us into the political structure problems. Our political structure problems is, there is some very big consideration and stuff that needs to be taken into account when it comes to our distributor issues. We don't have an ocean or deep sea here in Casper, so when we don't have any control over our distributors because they don't want to do business with us due to our public financial problems, well, we wound up getting a whole lot of deep sea fishing equipment. I don't know of a single trout large enough to really require that, or a walleye or others. So that one there is kind of a real huge issue because we're getting things we don't need. Things we do need, we can't obtain, and we have no control over that. And I understand that distributors do not want to take any chances with us, but instead of the deals that the company is making, they need to allow the local stores that know their community to do kind of like what we do best here in Casper, which is network. We know people. We get around in our industries. Let us make deals with them and do what needs to be done in order to bring in what we really need to bring in our customers. Because right now we're not even attracting our customers, and that's not good because we don't have anything that they really need or are looking for or want and have grown accustomed to getting through us. The other political problem again is selective double standards and cliquey problems, and it is perfectly fine for a certain group of people to behave certain ways, do certain things, and anybody not involved in that will pay the price. They'll get written up. They're in trouble. They're fired. They're demoted. There's absolutely no appreciation whatsoever of any of the employees on any level. And that, again, employee morale is non-existent. There's not a single happy person, and so the customer service goes to the wayside because you have miserable employees who just couldn't put on a happy face if it was going to save their bacon, and that's not how you want to be viewed in any position or situation, but especially not in a customer service driven industry, which of course brings us to our symbolism, because our symbolic frame for where I work has been always the most amazing customer service and trying to get fast service. In fact, I was at the Christmas party for my significant other last night, and the woman sitting next to us, not knowing that I work at the store that she was at, made a very clear statement about she didn't want to pop into the Walmart. She popped into the Kmart because she thought, it's not as busy. It shouldn't take hardly any time at all. And it took so long that people behind her in the line put their things away, just left their carts and abandoned them and walked out. And she nearly did as well, because it took her 45 minutes to make a purchase for 4 items because the system is ancient. And I do mean ancient. It was there 19 years ago when I was a kid the first time. And it's still the same system today. There's never enough of the equipment to go around for all the employees that need to use it. It does not function properly, and the POS systems literally break down, freeze up, and shut down and ruin transactions in the middle of the transactions, creating problems that does unfortunately hold the customer hostage at the counter sometimes, due to where it'll break down in the process. And that's not a way to run a business. It just isn't. And she regretted not going to Walmart and wait, because she felt that she could have went up there and waited in line and gotten checked out and taken care of for those 4 items a heck of a lot faster than popping into an empty store that should have taken her less than 5 minutes. She was understandably upset. And those are huge problems. So these all exist because corporates ignored them. There's a lack of training. There's no communication. The systems are outdated. And it's absolute chaos. And it is every man for himself. It is worse than yelling fire in a theater and hoping you make it out alive. Because nobody's doing anything to offset it. And the few areas that somebody does try and do something, you have 5 or 6 managers, and they all have a different opinion, a different idea, and a different expectation. And the good news is none of them are right, none of them are wrong, but you're going to get nailed for it either direction, and it hurts business on an endless level. So some great solutions that would really be beneficial for this is, we need training. I don't care what your position is there, we need training there. Hands-on training, because with the training you learn what is expected in each position, what your job is supposed to be entailing, and what needs to be done in order to get through the basics. And they need to learn it in every single department so they can be cross-trained and be useful on multiple levels, because we are extremely short-handed. And you cannot send people in blind. It has made huge messes. We've lost over $5,000 with a layaway mishap to prove it. And it's supposedly was cleaned up. And my last shift was walking proof that no, it had not been completely fixed. And there was issues there. I'm still missing stuff for other orders for people that are coming in to pick up their Christmas gifts. These are crucial areas we just cannot afford to be dealing with. So training has got to be implemented and start happening. We need to create a hierarchy system that has a beneficial aspect to it. Again, front end answers to the front end manager. Hard lines people answer to the hard lines manager. So on and so forth. And it's got to be that way. Because when you're a hard lines worker and you have to literally answer to hard lines manager, soft line manager, front end manager, this manager over here, that manager over there, and 3 others on top of that, and you've got all these managers, you're never going to accomplish anything. So we need that hierarchy system in place. We absolutely need to improve our reputation with the public, because we cannot get employees. We cannot get off that banned list with the high schools to even attract at least some new beginning employees or entry-level employees if we do not improve how we appear as incompetent and unable to do the basics at that place. So we have to really, really focus on that as well. And we need to be able to find a way to offer more hours, because customer service is our baseline. We should not have been, cutting our employees back. We really need to build our employees up or keep our employees, because you cannot offer customer service if you have nobody working for you to offer service. That's a problem. And the few you do have such low morale and have to walk on such eggshells that they're miserable, which shows. And then they're not very good at their job when trying to assist the customers, which is the only thing you've got going for you as a retail company. You have to absolutely work the networking. In some areas, as rural as where we're at, you have to be able to network. that is going to get us the products that we need and the products that are desired and being asked for to bring in customers and try and retain customers on top of everything else. Because right now, the only thing we attract are shoplifters because of the rules due to us having concealed carry laws, and there's no employees hardly, so it's who's watching? Nobody's watching. So we're having a lot of major issues with all of those. And if we were to not only, if we could finally do that, we would be able to attract some employees so that we could hire some quality employees and train these people. And we've got to get more equipment and get it upgraded, because if you do not even have the basic point of sale systems working and you don't have anything else that is absolutely mandatory for an employee to do their job, you cannot sell the product, because you cannot get people to come in because the prices are always wrong, the equipment doesn't work, so that it's always frozen. And if you're going to spend 3 hours in line trying to purchase a pack of gum, you may as well just go to the grocery store. You can go to the Walmart. You can go anywhere but where we're at. These are things that need to be changed. And until we're willing to accept these aspects as our problems, and until we are willing to actually build a plan to change them, they're going to continue being a problem. So the biggest thing is there has to be change, and it needs to start with corporate. It needs to come down from the very top, where they can come in and provide appropriate equipment, make changes, train, be able to do the things that are needed in order to build a hierarchy system that allows us to streamline things and improve all the rest of the other situations, to kind of get off that teeter-totter and hopefully turn things around and make a better improvement. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.